Alright, what's up? Arts here, and welcome to a new Black Ops 3 video. In fact, welcome to a new Black Ops 3 Best Class setup video. And of course, as you could tell by the title, in this one, we're gonna take a look at the reimagined version of the P90, aka the WEEVIL, my favorite submachine gun in this game. Anyway, of course, as all of you know, this gun shines at medium range, not so much at close range like most SMGs. That's mainly because this gun, its fire rate isn't too great. Of course, weapons like the VMP and the Vespa will outgun you at close range, but it's definitely pretty solid at both close, medium range, and sometimes even at long range. And that's because this gun doesn't have a whole lot of recoil. Of course, add to that the grip, and you're good to go. Anyway, as always, I'm simply going to break down this class setup, but first we're going to take a look at the attachments, after that the perks, and then finally my score streak setup. So with that being said, let's get to it. Now, for a change, I'm actually not using an optic. Normally speaking, I always use a red dot sight or an ELO sight. I personally prefer that when it comes down to winning medium range gunfights, but of course, you don't need that when it comes down to using the WEEVIL, just because these iron sights are actually pretty good. Anyway, so next up for starters, we have the quick draw grip. Now, the quick draw grip is an attachment that I use about 99% of the time. It basically allows you to zoom in a little bit faster with close range. Now, normally speaking, in terms of Call of Duty, I think the average kill time is about 200 to 300 milliseconds. So obviously, if you manage to hit your opponent before he hits you, you're more than likely going to win that gunfight. So that's why I pretty much always use the quick draw grip. Next up, we also have the regular grip. It's going to reduce your recoil by a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 9%, something along those lines. I don't know the exact figures. I basically haven't watched enough in-depth videos this year. Don't think I'll do that anytime soon either. But this makes this gun a little bit more reliable at medium range, which is definitely pretty good because, like I said, this gun doesn't have a huge amount of recoil. It doesn't have a crazy fire rate either, so it's actually pretty usable at medium range. And the grip is simply going to make it even more manageable. And then finally, we have rapid fire. Now, if I'm not mistaken, rapid fire increases your fire rate by about 6%, making this gun a little bit more deadly at close range. Like I said, this gun struggles to keep up with things like the Vespa and the VMP at close range, and rapid fire will kind of even out the odds a little bit. Next up, for perk 1, we have, of course, overclock. Now, overclock allows you to get your specialist ability a little bit faster, or your specialist weapon, depending on what you choose. In this case, I was using Combat Focus, if I'm not mistaken, just to get my score streaks a bit faster. Combat Focus is actually a pretty good one. It basically doubles the amount of score that you get for like a short period of time, which is pretty good, especially when it comes down to getting something like a UAV, a counter UAV, in just a matter of seconds. Next up for perk 2, we have Fast Hands. I'm pretty sure that some of you are surprised I'm not using Hardwired for a change. Fast Hands is actually a really good perk, especially if you, just like me, pretty much tend to zoom in at all times. Because Fast Hands actually allows you to zoom in faster after you're done sprinting. Obviously, it also allows you to pick up and swap weapons faster, but I personally rarely use a pistol. Whenever I do use a secondary, it's most likely a launcher, either the Black Cell, the XM53, and neither one is really going to help me out in the gunfight. However, being able to zoom in faster after you're done sprinting is definitely pretty useful. Whenever you use the perk Fast Hands, the amount of time that it takes you to zoom in after you're done sprinting actually gets cut in half. And combine that with quick draw, you'll be able to snap on target pretty much instantly. And then finally, we have 2 more perks, Dead Silence and also Awareness, a Sound Horse favorite perks pretty much. For starters, Dead Silence is going to silence your footsteps, making it pretty much impossible for your opponents to hear you. And then of course, Awareness is going to increase the amount of sound that your enemies' their footsteps make, making it even easier for you to hear them. Now, I've asked this in previous videos as well. Apparently, Awareness is still a pretty viable option even if you don't have a proper headset. However, it will be difficult for you to figure out where exactly your enemies are coming from. Now, if you don't like this perk, if you don't like Awareness, you simply switch it for anything else you prefer. Could be Hardwired, could be Engineer, could be another attachment. Maybe you want to go for lethal and an optic. In that case, simply go ahead. But this is the setup that I would recommend you to try out first. Anyway, then finally for my score streaks, in this case I was using the UAV, the care package, and then finally the Talon. Once again, a pretty simple and pretty straightforward score streak setup. Basically, normally speaking, I don't really use score streaks like the Talon, the Wraith, or the Hater, just because I tend to die one off pretty often. But when you use Combat Focus, it's a lot more likely you're going to get all of your streaks. So be sure to definitely give this one a go. And apart from that, if you've got a pretty solid WEEVIL setup, then definitely be sure to share that one in the comments for others to try out. Also, if you enjoyed this video, some support, a like rating would be very much appreciated. If not, that's cool. Of course, if you want to, you can also follow me on Twitter, or Facebook, or Instagram. You can find all those links in the description. And then finally, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the continued support. And I will catch you in the next one. Take it easy.